Good day, everybody, and welcome to Real Talk with Roberta's House. My name is Dr. Gregory Branch, and I'm going to be the host for today. And today I have with me a wonderful young man, Jay Wilson, who's the Director of Operations at Roberta's House. Welcome, Jay.
Hey, everybody. It's good to be here.
All right, I'm glad that you're here. So, Jay, tell us about Roberta's House.
So Roberta's House is a not-for-profit that specializes in helping individuals that are families, men, women, and children go through their grief process. All our programs here are free. We have various of programs here. We have programs that are catered to those who lost somebody through homicide. And we have grief camps, such as Camp Aaron. And then we have individual groups for adults, women, children, and even we have school-based programs as well.
So you mentioned grief a lot of times. Tell me, why is it so important that we address grief?
Yes, it's important to address grief because oftentimes grief for many individuals can be traumatic in itself. A lot of times it's promoted to just go on with life. But when you lose a specific individual in your life that played a pivotal role, that you have a lot of memories, it's hard to kind of continue to go through life and have that remembrance of that person not being here. So a lot of times that also triggers other mental health issues that goes on as well.
Oh, so is there an association between grief and mental health? Because you mentioned grief and then you said mental health. Tell me the association between those two.
Yes, so grief is a part of mental health. And most people think mental health is just when a person has a episode of where they seem like they're going crazy or they're losing their mind or their endangerment, where mental health itself is actually just your well-being and your health mentally. So similar to like a doctor's visit. Every time you go to the doctors, you're not automatically going to get a diagnosis. You're not always feeling sick or terminally ill. It's basically just your health and well-being as mentally. And grief plays a big component of that because grief can affect the body. It can affect the mind and it can affect the emotions. And most of the time it manifests in the emotions and then it manifests in the mental when you go towards talking about grief when you lose somebody.
So we talk about mental health in the communities quite a bit. So what are some of those like stigmas or myths about mental health that people really need to understand?
Similar to what I just talked about before, a lot of the myths is specifically thinking when you think of mental health, you think of automatically diagnosis. So a lot of people, when they talk about different events or different things catered to mental health, a lot of people say, well, that doesn't fit for me because I don't have depression. I don't have anxiety. I don't have a mental health diagnosis. And a lot of times people associate it with people who seem to be crazy, who are suffering from schizophrenia or bipolar disorder that's having manic episodes. So a lot of time that's the kind of the myth and the kind of stigma behind it is that you have to be in this deranged or crazy headspace to really be suffering mentally. Oftentimes stress is about a big part of mental health as well.
So when we talk about this mental health, and people are neglecting their mental health, what happens because of that neglect? And then when you talk about the neglect of mental health for the individuals, for the family, specifically talk about men.
I will specifically talk about the men first. So when it comes to neglect, a lot of times when it comes to manhood and it comes to masculinity, it's about how strong you are. So it's about how much you can endure. And a lot of times that comes with strength is about how much weight you can lift. When it comes to internalizing things, you don't have a mental health spotter. You don't have a person or a time where you can rack the weights. So when you're carrying something very heavy internally, you don't have, again, that spotter person. But a lot of times you can get that spotter person when you seek mental health help. So that's going to a therapist, joining wellness groups, doing mindfulness practices. That's going to help you be able to rack that mental health weight and those stressors. So a lot of times that is the biggest stigma I would say amongst men definitely is how strong can I am and how much can I endure? How much trauma can I endure? How much stress I can endure? How much grief I can endure? How much I can suppress my depression and smile and go to work and seem that I have this wellness going on, but mentally I'm not in the best space.
I like the fact that you talked about that spotter. I just never thought of it from that perspective, but that makes a whole lot of sense. So that whole idea of having, excuse me, a spotter, a therapist, somebody who can actually support you through all those stresses. That's actually a wonderful analogy. That was great. So what is happening at Roberta's House in August 23rd?
Yes, so we're having our second annual Men's Mental Health Conference. We did our first one last year, had a great turnout. We had over 60 men join. We had various workshops, such as breaking mental health stigma, coping strategies and resilience, and then even doing support systems and brotherhood and mindfulness practices. And then we also had guest speakers. We had Aaron Mabin last year coming out to speak. And then we had other different type of resources such as Care First, different wellness practices within the community that are there to hold these spaces to support men, and to support anybody really that's going through mental health as well.
All right, so we talked about grief. We talked a little bit about mental health. We talked a little bit about neglecting your mental health and the importance of having a spotter, someone who can help you support that load. And here at Roberta's house, we're going to have this wonderful conference on August 23rd. So I want to talk about that again. Give me those dates and times, and how can somebody register for that program?
Yes, so the event is August 23rd. It will be here at Roberta's house, which is 928 East North Avenue, Baltimore, Maryland. That's 21202. To be able to register for the event, you can go to Eventbrite. On Eventbrite, you'll be able to type in Game Changers mental health event, and it'll pop up. Also, we'll put it in the description of this video, so you can tag on that. And then we'll also pop up the QR code so you can scan it on your phone to register as well.
That is wonderful. You guys have heard it right now, right here from Jay Wilson, Roberta's house, August 23rd, a men's mental health conference. Hopefully, we're going to see you there. God bless.